hope everyone is doing alright. What with the quarantine and everything. Let me know in the comments if you've discovered any exciting, fun ways to keep yourselves entertained during this weird period of time. On a brighter note, I have just discovered that I'm only like 100 subscribers away from reaching 1,000 subscribers. So, if you're watching this and you don't have anything else to do, and I know you don't because we're all stuck with nothing else to do at the moment, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You'll be really glad you did. I have a special video planned for when we reach that milestone as a little subscriber appreciation video. I'm really excited to share with you guys, so that should be fun. Okay, what are we doing today? I'm feeling a bit salty today, a bit frustrated. Some things have been going wrong. Computer's deciding to just, I don't know, be a computer. Sometimes I really hate computers and don't want to work with them anymore. Find them incredibly frustrating. I think today my computer in the last week or so has decided that it can no longer handle video chat, which is really convenient considering we are all working remotely. If I don't have the camera on, it seems to be fine, but if I do have the camera on, about 5 minutes into the video call, it'll just disconnect from the Wi-Fi and completely lose any Wi-Fi network at all. So I don't really know what's going on with that. Obviously, I can't take it in to get looked at because everywhere is closed, so just kind of making do for the time being and hoping that I can get it in somewhere this weekend, maybe. We'll see. Apart from that, a little bit stressful. We basically did our kind of sprint planning yesterday, and we have 3 weeks to build an entire native mobile app, which neither of us have ever done before. So that'll be fun, or really stressful, or something, I don't know. Basically, once this sprint is done and we launch the app in a month or so, and also the quarantine is lifted, I am going to go outside for 4 days and just stay out there, I think. Alright, anyway, so today what I'm working on is getting our first time user experience set up on the mobile app. I've already done this in the web app, so the good news is I've already done this once. The bad news is I've already done this once. Basically, I'm realizing that I think I'm just going to have to kind of repurpose a lot of the code that I already used in the web app, which is great. I don't have to write it, and I already know how things are supposed to work, so that makes things faster, but it just seems very inefficient, and I wish that we had gone about this a different way. So, today I'm working on authentication. So basically what I'm doing is I'm pulling over the methods that we use to authenticate a user and adding them into the mobile code. What the flow essentially is that when a user is first signing up, we create a username and a password for them, and then we use that username and a password to generate something called a JWT or a JWT, JSON Web Token. This gets sent back to the browser, and it lives in the user's browser, and then every time they visit the website we check that token, and if it's valid we allow them to log into the site, or we allow them to get to the site. If it's not valid, there could be a few reasons for it. It could be that it's expired, because we do expire them regularly for security reasons. Every 5 minutes or so you have to get a new token, so if it's expired we send back an error message that it's expired. I think I was talking about this a little bit last week. Speaking of last week, somebody commented that I had left you guys on a bit of a cliffhanger because I was gonna go away and work on this thing and take it to my boss, and I wasn't sure if he was gonna go for it or not. Good news is he went for it, so we are going with that approach now, which is cool, which is exciting. But anyway, so the server will send back a message that basically says this token is expired. If that's the case, we just want to refresh the token and then allow the user to go on without the user ever having known that that's happened at all. So that's what I'm working on right now. the issue that I've just run up against is that in the web version of the app, I check for this refresh token, and if I can't refresh it, or if there's some other error that happens, I redirect the user to our login page using something called window.location, which is available on all browsers. It's a native method that you can use to move the user around. I'm only doing this because where that check is happening is inside the Apollo link, not inside a React component. So if this check was happening inside a React component, I could use React's navigation tools to move the user around, but it doesn't happen there. So what I've just realized, being very new to mobile development, or what I've just kind of figured out, is that there is no window in React Native or on mobile. And there is no window.location, so I can't use that same method. So I've just been trying to figure out what I can use instead, and it looks like I can use these navigation actions from the React navigation package. So the React navigation package, the way we move a user around in React Native is through something called the navigator, which is something that we import into a component and then pass it down as props, and then you can call navigator.navigate and awesome, and you can use that to move the user around. But if you're not inside a React component, you don't have access to that navigation prop. But I've just discovered that what you can do is just pull the navigation actions out of the package itself and use those kind of piecemeal wherever you like. So that's what I'm doing right now. First, there's a couple of things I need to set up. I need to create some auth utilities. So these utilities are kind of like helper functions that allow us to abstract some of the functionality out of a big function and put it into a separate function. So if there's something I need to do, like grab a token from somewhere or pass a string or anything like that, I can pull that out into a helper function. And so that's what these auth helper functions are doing. So I need to set up one for authentication methods, and obviously we don't have a window.local storage to store the JWT on here, so I need to pull it in from async storage. Async storage is kind of like local storage, but for React Native, so I'm going to be using that. So I'm going to just see if this is like a one-to-one mapping where I can just pull out window.local storage and replace it with async storage. It looks like I can. So that's awesome. Great. It's telling me I can't find this module. Why can't you find that module? Well, because I haven't created that. I thought I had just created that, did I not? So it looks like the methods on async storage are the same as they are on local storage, i.e. you can get an item and you can set an item, but it looks like async storage is asynchronous, which makes sense. It's called async storage. Whereas window.local storage is synchronous. So asynchronous means that the not browser in this case, the client will make a request, and that request might not come back right away. So something like a network request in JavaScript would be considered asynchronous, where you make a request and what you'll get back is what's called a promise, and that promise is like something will be here at some point. That promise could either resolve with a successful piece of data, or it could reject with an error, and then you have to handle those rejections or successes. So instead of simply calling get item, I have to call get item, or I have to await get item and then see what the resolution of the promise is. So now all of this is going to be asynchronous, and I'm not sure what the ramifications of that are going to be long term, but for now I'm just going to make it all asynchronous, and then I'm going to await all of these calls. Of course, what I really need to do is to wrap these in a try-catch block to handle any errors. Yes, okay, fine, I'll do it. So, try-catch block would be that, like, you're going to try and do something asynchronously, and then if it goes wrong, you're going to catch the error and report the error to the user, instead of simply calling the asynchronous function and hoping that it, resolves successfully. For now, because we're on a time crunch, all I'm going to do is log the error for my own benefit, and then I'll decide later. Basically, actually, no, you know what? I'm not going to do it here. I just have to remember that these are asynchronous. The better way to do it, I was actually just reading about this the other day, because I always kind of do this every time I see an asynchronous function. My immediate instinct, or like a promise or anything like that, my immediate instinct is always to wrap it in a try catch, or do a promise.then.catch and try to catch the error right away. But really what you should do is not catch the error right away, and you should let whoever initiated the function, whoever initiated the request, catch the error and decide what they want to do with it. So I am not going to wrap these in try catches right now. I am going to do this step. Since I've used promises here, I'm going to continue to use them, because it doesn't make sense to use an async and a promise in the same bit of code. Oh, whoops. I need to wrap these in curly braces. Okay, cool. So it should work. Yeah, okay. And I did. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the only problem now, though, is I'm not entirely sure. This is going to be an issue of not. Yeah, I did decide I wanted to do that. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm rambling. None of you guys are going to know anything that I'm talking about once again, but that's fine. Just talking out loud because trying to get this thing built. Where's that dot then? It's right there. Okay, so instead of using window.location to redirect the user where we want them to go, we're going to use this navigation action that we've just got back from our React navigation. Oops. Package. I don't know what methods are going to be available to us on this. Let's see. Oh. I suppose I'd better read about this. Okay. React navigation actions. All navigation actions return an object that can be sent to the router using navigation.dispatch. Note that if you want to dispatch React navigation actions, you should use the action creators provided in this library. It's important to highlight that dispatching a navigation action doesn't throw any error when the action is unhandled. However, if the app state changes as a result of a dispatch, then the return value of the dispatch is true and false otherwise. The following actions are supported. Navigate. Okay, so it seems like what we want is navigation action dot navigate, and it takes an object with a route name, where you want to go, the params that you should provide to that route, and an action. Oh, no, wait a minute. That's not what I want, because I still need the navigation prop to dispatch the action. I see. Okay, so, I have to find my navigation container, which I believe is in app.tsx. Yes, there it is. And I have to give it a ref. Navigation container, ref, and we're going to give it the ref of. Not entirely sure where this root navigation is coming from. Oh, here it is, okay. Okay. So I create this file, root navigation.ts, put this in here. So basically what's happening is we are creating our own navigate function, and we are putting a reference on the navigation container, and then because the function references that container, we can then use the function anywhere we like, and it'll have that reference to its parent navigation container. So even if the container is containing basically all of our routes, all of our screens, but I want to make a request from somewhere that's not inside the container, but by attaching a reference to the container and then creating a function that uses that reference to call the navigate prop from that container, I can then use that function wherever I like, and it'll have a reference to that container. The only thing is TypeScript is yelling at me because I haven't assigned the reference yet. I hope that when I assign the reference that TypeScript will stop yelling at me, but TypeScript rarely stops yelling at me, so let's not hold our breath. There we go, navigation ref from root navigation, and then we're going to put that as the reference on our navigation container. great. The ref is not assignable. There, see now TypeScript's just yelling at me more. I think it's because I haven't given the navigation ref a type. So I should just be able to give this a. I should just be able to give this a reference, or like I should just be able to give this a type. But navigation container ref. Okay. But no. Conversion cannot happen because neither type sufficiently overlaps with the other. Probably what I need to do is type it here, maybe. TypeScript. There we go. There we go. TypeScript for ref. We don't officially support TypeScript right now. Some folks are working on it. Great. The rain sounds nice. This is another thing I hate about this stuff, is that you just have to search for things and it's like other people have the same problem and the problems just aren't fixed. I was like, great, okay, cool. I think the fastest way to do it is to just make this a JS file instead of a TS file. Because, yeah. That way, I don't have to deal with TypeScript. Ha ha ha. Done. Guess you can use that still. Okay, then in app, we have this navigation ref. Okay. Now, in my module, I would import everything as root navigation. So this will be an error link here from root navigation, and I don't need the extension. And then I would go root navigation dot navigate. Okay, so I have everything in place here. I was able to pull in a reference to the navigation container and then pass that reference down into a function that calls the references navigate function method, I guess. I then pulled that function into my error link and I'm using that to navigate the user back to the login screen in the case that they try to refresh their token and it fails. So basically what I need to do now is stop saying basically, first of all, because I say it probably way too much. What I need to do now is just kind of test that things are working, and the way I'm going to do that is by running something called a web proxy. The iOS simulator for Mac, which is a part of the Xcode tool suite, which is what I'm using to develop this with, is kind of nifty. It shows you like a little mobile script phone on your computer screen, but it doesn't include any way to debug network requests, which is something I do all the time on the web. So I will, if something goes wrong, I'll open the Chrome developer tools or the Safari developer tools, but let's be real, I'm using Chrome because I hate Safari. I'll open the Chrome dev tools and I'll take a look at the network request and I'll see like, okay, am I sending what I thought I was sending? What's the response I'm getting back? Like, why is this going wrong and where is it going wrong? Without that, it becomes very difficult to debug network requests between your client and the server. And like, I can log them on the server and we do have logs, but it just takes longer. So what I can do, or what I found, is something called mitem proxy, which is a free proxying piece of software that you run in the terminal, and it provides you with an interface similar to the Chrome DevTools that you can then use to debug your incoming and outgoing requests. So what you have to do is go to the regular, after you've downloaded and installed mitem proxy, open the network preferences on your Mac and go to advanced and then proxies, and then check web proxy HTTP. I'm only doing HTTP because I'm on localhost, and so I'm using HTTP, not HTTPS. Click OK and then click apply, and then in the terminal I'm going to run mitem web, and that's going to open up a browser window with the network requests logged in it. So then I will run these requests again. Right, first of all, I'm going to refresh the application. I'm going to run these requests again, and then I'm going to take a look at the browser tab and just see that, first of all, am I getting successful responses? Second of all, what was the payload of that request? What am I sending? Is it what I expect to be sending? That one looked good. What's this one? The mutation, username and password. Comes back good. Okay, cool. So we've obtained a JSON web token. That looks great. And what I could also do is log in this error link that I've just set up to see if that is working. So let's just run this one more time. We'll refresh and go through here. A username, create a password, and then we'll take a look at this log, and cool, looks like it's working. Awesome. Alright, well, so I think that's about it for me today. Apologies for the saltiness of this video, apologies for the scattered brainness of this video. I hope you guys still subscribe. I don't know why you would. But if you want to, go ahead. We'll be doing this again probably another time this week. I have been trying to do some additional extra like bonus videos of just some more kind of typical ASMR type stuff. I did an unboxing video with my dog on Saturday, which was really fun. So if you are more into like traditional ASMR, go and check that out. I don't know if I'm going to be continuing those videos in the immediate future because I just have so little time. So for the immediate future, it might just be more coding videos, more code with me stuff. It might even be just some long form coding videos where I just set up the camera and then kind of sit here and code. There'll be less talking to you guys and more just sort of like me typing and probably swearing. So if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned. Those will be coming out. Yeah, okay. Well, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you all. I hope you're staying safe and please take care.